I wanted to give you a bit more of an update on how I am and how things are going. Well, I came out of hospital on the 19th of February. I think it's now the 22nd. I lose track of days. Yes, it's the 22nd day. So I've been out for sort of 2.5 days, and I'm having to take this medicine, the amoxicillin, and so I take that 3 times a day, every 8 hours. So along with this paracetamol. This is 1 gram tablets. They're huge and very hard to swallow. Strangely, the amoxicillin and the paracetamol tablets are pretty much the same size. They're the same size and shape. Somehow the paracetamol is harder to swallow than the amoxicillin, but I take them together 3 times a day. I get up early in the morning, maybe 6 or 7, to take the tablet, and then 8 hours later, maybe 2 or 3 o'clock, take another lot, and then another lot before I go to bed. So that sort of does that sort of 8-hour gap between the tablets. They are keeping me well. You know, I'm extraordinarily tired and get very weak very quickly, but my daily routine has changed. I get up in the morning, go and have a shower, and that is a change, because I would normally have breakfast earlier and then have a shower a bit later on in the day. But I'm getting up, having a shower, having breakfast, because this was the hospital routine that I've just got into. 2 weeks of a new routine, and you're pretty well into it. And for breakfast, I would usually have had something like scrambled eggs or toast, cheese on toast maybe, and quite a substantial breakfast. The hospital breakfast, and what I'm doing now, is a cup of coffee made with fully skimmed milk, and I'll just move you out of the way of the fridge there, and that is, this is called in the Spanish way, it's called desnatada, leche desnatada. So that's the skimmed milk. So I have a cup of hot skim milk with a spoonful. We wouldn't usually spend out on the high quality Nescafe, but Wendy has. I think she paid like €4 for that small jar, because that's what they were serving me in hospital. We're trying to stick broadly to the hospital thing. I've got to say, it does taste a lot nicer than the cheaper coffees that we have. The things, this is the usual coffee that we have, the Bellarum Classico from, I think that's from Lidl's or Mercadona, not sure which. It'll be from one of those shops. So I have I fill the cup up with milk, microwave for about 1.5 to 2 minutes, 1 minute 40 seconds. That gets it hot enough, and then a spoonful of coffee on top. And what I have with that is a small roll. I mean, look, this is not a small roll, this is a loaf, so I'll have about that much of that loaf. this is wholemeal bread, so I'll have about that much of it. A nice, reasonable chunk of bread, and I will have some sort of marmalade on that. And the one I'm going with currently, and this is also very new for me. I wouldn't have chosen this peach marmalade at all, because I'm very traditional. I'd go for orange marmalade, blackcurrant jam, and that's pretty much it. But I'm being forced to be introduced to these wonderful new flavours. I wouldn't call myself a fussy eater. I pretty well eat most things, but maybe that's what's got me into trouble with my gallbladder, eating too much of the wrong things. So having had breakfast, I'm now I haven't had breakfast yet, so I'm going to have that. Then I'll be sitting sort of trawling through your comments to try and answer everyone, and that's a commitment that I made this year for 2020, that I would answer every comment with a at least a thanks for taking the time to comment, and I'll respond back to you if you have any questions. And that's a commitment I'm desperately trying to stick to. I think the day when I think it was, I can't remember whether it was yesterday or the day before. I think it was the day before. I spent a full day, like 10 hours, literally 10 hours, from about 10 o'clock in the morning through till about 8 o'clock in the evening, just continually going through all of the lovely comments that you'd left. It was a mammoth task, but an enjoyable one, and I've got to say I felt quite overwhelmed with the wonderful comments that you've made, and all the love that's coming our way. So I really do appreciate it. It's you guys are something very special. So so that's the breakfast thing. The next thing we'll do is I'll have some lightly boiled vegetables with something like, and this is something I had, something like this, white fish. So it's just ordinary everyday white fish. I think that might be called malutha, and there's also the bacalao, which I'm told is cod. But any of the white fish, and they're all roughly similar. So that piece you saw there, I'll have about maybe 1.5 times that, and a lot of boiled vegetables or steamed vegetables. But you'll notice there's no fat in the diet at all. I'm not frying anything, because occasionally for breakfast I'd have fried eggs. Well, I say occasionally, a lot. So heating up the oils is not good for you, I understand. A bit of olive oil with some bread dipped in seems to be fine, because that was one of the little snacks that they gave me in hospital for the hepatobiliary system protection. The hepatobiliary system, for those that are not medical, is your gallbladder, your bile duct and your liver, all that sort of system there that helps you digest the fats. So it's basically a diet to protect that system, and just make sure that it's not put under any strain, because that would put me right back to the start and I'd be very ill again, and I don't want that. So I'll have a bit of fish or a bit of chicken, something light, fat-free, and either baked or boiled. So we tend to bake the fish and the chicken, put it in the oven, no fat, no skin on the chicken, on a bed of vegetables, and that, the water in the vegetables tends to sort of steam things a bit, so we're doing a lot of that. It's a real different way of eating and planning our food. It really is very different and much more healthy. I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm looking a bit more trim. I don't weigh myself and haven't done for years. I tend to know if I'm putting on a bit of weight, because my belly just flaps out, and I start to put on a bit more around the cheeks. But there's a load gone from around here, and so I'm losing weight, which is a very good thing, because I should, before the illness, I probably could have done with losing at least 2 stone to put me at the correct weight. I'm 5'6" tall, and I've always been too short for my weight. so it's just one of those things. But this is helping. So I'm having fruit. So we bought cans. This is something they served up in the hospital. The peach halves in a syrup, and on Almibar Ligero. I'm not sure what that means. I'll have to look up the Spanish for that. So that would be lunch, and then about 5 o'clock I'd have another cup of coffee and some digestive biscuits. Those sort of not the loaded with fat sort of biscuits, but they're not quite digestive. They're served in the hospital. They're more like a wheaty biscuit. So quite nice. They're very plain, but they go well with a cup of coffee. So we've got some of those in. So I have a couple of biscuits and a cup of coffee about 5 o'clock. And that'll see me through till about 8 or 9, when I'll have another batch of either very lean steak, chicken, no skin, or fish, all baked in the oven, not fried, nothing fried for me. And then that'll be it. And then to finish off, last thing at night, I'll have a cup, which is recommended, a cup of chamomile tea, which takes a little bit of getting used to. The taste is, when I first tasted it, it was absolutely awful. These days, now I've been drinking it for a couple of weeks. A fairly weak cup of chamomile tea, just hot water, chamomile tea bag in for about 15 seconds. Dipped in a few times, and that is quite a nice finish to the day. So that's my day, and that's what we're doing. I'm having to sit down and do almost nothing most of the time. I tend to fall asleep in the afternoons because I'm feeling so tired. But there you are. I'm feeling quite well, which is a great thing. And thank you all of you, for your very, very kind wishes. I'll see you again soon. We're not making videos every day these days, because it's just, well, it's just wearing. It really is wearing. But in the next video I do want to talk to you about prescription drugs here in Spain and the massive danger that us Brits will face and do face from the Spanish doctors prescribing something called Nolotil. I'll talk to you more about that in the next video, so there'll probably be a link to it at some point up there, so click on that and learn about that before you come to Spain. I'll see you again soon. Bye bye for now.